I'm 13-year-old FP Sticks. Just kidding, I'm KimiSui227. I'm a content creator on YouTube and Twitch, and I'm going to be making some English videos soon, so feel free to check me out. Thank you FP6 for letting me have this chance to commentate on my own battles in the Element Cup. I'm going to be using a team of Chincho, Ducklet, and SNOVER in the Expert League range. Let's begin! Up against Go Bison. The opponent has a Ducklet in the lead. This is very good for me, and they swap into their Execute. I swap into my SNOVER, and the thing about Execute is that their fast move does so much damage that I really have to shield this in order to get off my Ice Beam. If they shield this, they can secure switch advantage. They don't. Okay, I have secured switch, but I'm at a shield deficit. The opponent brings back in their Ducklet, and I get farmed down. I want to bring back in my Chincho. The opponent throws, or it might be a Brave Bird, but I can tank it. They throw a Bubble Beam, bait, and they swap into their Bulbasaur. Now, even though I'm at a shield deficit, I actually can farm down with my wing attacks. They throw their Sludge Bomb, and I throw my Aerial Ace just in case. Alright, so I sneak a fast move through, which is really good for me. They throw their Sludge Bomb, and I'm almost KO'd, but we simultaneously KO, and they have their Ducklet, and I have my Chincho. The opponent resigns. Up against Guan87, and they have a Chincho lead. Okay, so in the mirror match, I always immediately throw the Thunderbolt, just because the opponent might think I'm baiting. Guan does not shield this, and I don't shield here, but this is actually a very big mistake on my part, because they actually, even if they bait, they actually can't get to another Thunderbolt. So, because my Chincho is not as good as his, I lose the lead, but they swap in the Ducklet against my own. Now this is actually pretty good for me, because if my SNOVER evades this Ducklet, it might be able to sweep the back. So they call my bait, and I shield here. They throw a Bubble Beam, which is not very good for me. Now I actually like running Aerial Ace, mostly because of the coverage against grass types. Okay, so the opponent swaps into their Connie. Now, Connie is so tanky that my fast moves don't do that much. I throw Ice Beam, which hopefully they don't shield. And they don't. Okay, this is very good for me. Now, I'm able to farm down. I'm probably going to be able to farm down with my wing attacks. I shield here, no matter what. They throw their Brave Bird, and I KO, winning the second match. Up against Leon with their Cottony. This is a bad matchup, so I'll immediately swap into my Ducklet. They have Razor Leaf as their fast move. They catch my Aerial Ace on their Ducklet, in their own Ducklet. And now I have a small energy lead, but they still have switch. Hopefully, if I'm able to land this Brave Bird, I can secure switch. But really, Connie is so tanky that my SNOVER might not even be able to take care of it. I throw two Aerial Aces because they throw their Bubble Beam. They shield one of them, and I snipe them down with my SNOVER. They bring in a Growlithe. This is really bad. My team is getting hard countered by theirs, and they have their Switch Clock. So they swap into their Connie, which has Razor Leaf, and they don't really need to shield anything. And they can just farm me down, really. I throw my Bubble Beam bait, and the opponent does not shield. And I throw another Bubble Beam. Yeah, there's not really much I can do against a Connie with my Chincho. I've landed at least 3 Thunderbolts, I think, to KO them. Okay, up against Mr. Chan, 65. They have a Bulbasaur lead, which is pretty bad for me. I swap again into my Ducklet, hoping to bait out their own Ducklet. I don't shield this because this is probably a Seed Bomb, which it is, and they switch into their own Ducklet. Now that I've baited out their ducklet, my Snover is pretty safe from the ducklet, unless they have another Pokemon that hard counters Snover. So I throw my Brave Bird, they shield it, I throw my Arrow Ace, and they still have some health. So I have to tank this Brave Bird, and then farm them down. Alright. They bring in their Bulbasaur, and they throw what might be a Sludge Bomb, but they throw their Sleep Bomb, they bait me. And they bring in their Vulpix, and I overtapped there and wasn't able to get to the Energy Ball or the Ice Beam. And here, there's not really much I can do either. Bubble Beam wouldn't KO, and I have to throw my Thunderbolt here, and they shield. Alright, so they farm me down, they throw their Body Slam, and KOs me. Okay, pretty hard counter. Okay, against Flango Full. They have a Ducklet. This is really good for me. And they bring in their Connie. Again, this isn't actually as good as you think it would be because Snover isn't that tanky. I throw my Ice Beam. They shield it. And now my plan is to farm down with my Ducklet. Now, I actually don't really need Switch Advantage here because I'm running double Water types. And my Ducklet can hold pretty well against their Ducklet. They bring in a Chinchou. Okay, now I'm just going to immediately throw this Brave Bird, and they don't shield, but they still have a decent amount of health, so it might be difficult to spark down, but I'm still going to try. They bait with a Bulb Beam, which isn't good for me. I throw my Bulb Beam, trying to get their shield, but they don't shield, and they are able to get to another move. I have to shield this, and they bring in their Ducklet. Now the thing is, I actually might be able to get to 2 Thunderbolts before they get to a Brave Bird. They try to call my bait, but I land the Thunderbolt and win the match. Up against another mirror match, I'm going to immediately throw the Thunderbolt again, but the opponent wins CMP. I tried to call their bait here, but fell. Okay, I throw my Thunderbolt here, and the opponent shields, which means I can actually get some farm on my Snover. It takes 7 fast moves to get to a Thunderbolt, and it takes 5 fast moves to get to a Bulb Beam. So I shield this Thunderbolt, and I try to CMP tie on their Bubble Beam. Okay, I throw this Energy Ball. They bring out a Growlithe. Their last Pokemon is a Bulbasaur. That's actually really good for me because it's a Shadow Bulbasaur, meaning that I actually might be able to farm down with wing attacks. And I snuck one through, so I'm able to farm down. Now I have 2 Aerial Aces loaded. Now Growlithe is really really squishy, so Aerial Ace probably could have done a lot of damage, but I'm not going to risk it, and I throw the Brave Bird, killing the opponent. Okay. The opponent has another Ducklet. Okay. They swap into a Slowpoke. Now because this was my first match up against a Slowpoke, so I made a mistake. And normally, right now, if I met a Slowpoke, safe swap, I would throw the Thunderbolt and then swap into my Snover. But here, because it was my first match, I made a mistake and did not do that. So the opponent can safely shield here and then farm me down. With some lag, of course. Okay, I bring back in my Chinchou. This is probably a side shot, but I still have to shield this because it's going to do a lot of damage. So I'm going to try and get as much energy as I can, and then I sack swap onto my Ducklet. The side swap does less, but still does a lot. They swap into their own Ducklet. So I'm trying to get to my Brave Bird. But the Aerial Ace KOs. Okay. Right here I bait, which is probably a mistake, since I probably can get to 2 Thunderbolts before they get to move. And here I have to throw the Thunderbolt because the Bulb Beam will not KO here. And they have a Chikorita in back. Yeah, yeah, I really made a big mistake when I swapped into that SNOVER right there. Okay, up against a Connie. The opponent safe swaps into their Chinchou, hard countering me. I immediately throw my Brave Bird, trying to not let them have a lot of farm. Okay, here I swap into my SNOVER, and I don't shield this. Okay, so now I'm able to farm down. The opponent brings out a Ducklet. And now here I'm getting hard counter again, so I just try and KO it with the energy ball, but it does not do enough. And my switch clock is not up, so I can't really swap either. I don't shield here. They throw an arrow ace and swap into their Connie. Yeah, they can just safely farm me down here. They don't really have to shield anything because Connie can probably tank 2 Thunderbolts, I think. And nobody used a shield. Okay, the opponent has a Bulbasaur. This is a bad matchup, so I immediately swap into my Ducklet, and they have a Chinchou. Now, this team is actually pretty common. They probably have a Ducklet in the back, judging by what I've seen. They farm me down, and again, I'm going to swap into my SNOVER. This time, I shield, trying to preserve my health. They get to another move, which is probably a Bubble Beam, which it is. Pretty good. Now, I have a decent amount of energy, and they swap into their Bulbasaur. Now, this makes me wonder, what's their last Pokemon? If they swap into their Bulbasaur, does that mean their last Pokemon is also weak to SNOVER? So here I decide to shield, and they throw their Sludge Bomb, which is really good for me. Here, they actually have a Ducklet in the back, which means they actually swapped into the wrong Pokemon when I pulled out my SNOVER. They shield the Bubble Beam bait, and now I can just farm them down. They throw an Arrow Ace, and this is probably a Brave Bird. But I think I'm able to farm them down with my SNOVER. Oh, I actually have some health left, and perfectly I can throw my Thunderbolt against their Bulbasaur, KOing them. Yeah, the opponent there made a big mistake by actually swapping into the wrong Pokemon. Up against another Bulbasaur, this time Shadow. They swap into their Chinchou. And we've seen this matchup a lot of times. It's probably another Ducklet in the back. And here, they throw actually. I actually didn't expect them to throw. I was actually trying to see if I can get to 2 moves right there, but I realized I couldn't. And I got Bubble Beam down. They throw their Thunderbolt. This is probably a Bubble Beam, so I don't shield this. Alright, and I have to throw my Energy Ball. My SNOVER is at such low HP, there's not much I can do, and they have a Ducklet. This is the Bulbasaur double water line, and it really hard counters my team. They throw a C-Bomb, and there's really not much I can do. This Thunderbolt probably wouldn't KO, but the opponent shields. And they can just safely vine me down. I don't bother to shield. They throw a C-Bomb. Yeah. Completely hard countered. Okay, up against a Chikorita. This is also another negative matchup by safe swap into my Ducklet, and they actually stay in. Now this is actually pretty good for me, since everything they have will do neutral, and I do super effective with all of my moves. I throw my Arrow Ace, they shield it, and I don't shield this Body Slam, because I can actually just wait out the clock and swap in my SNOVER, but they actually swap into their Ducklet, and I'll just farm down with my Chinchou. They throw a Arrow Ace, and I might be able to farm down before they get to another move. This is probably another Arrow Ace, so I don't need to shield this. Alright, I farmed them down. Now I'm thinking if I should throw the Thunderbolt, because their Chikorita is so low on health, I'm pretty sure the Thunderbolt would almost KO. So I throw the Thunderbolt, they don't shield, and I snipe them down with my SNOVER. They're running a double grass team, and I'm able to take care of the opponent. Alright, on to the next match. The opponent has a Connie. It's a Charm Connie, and they're staying in for a pretty long time, but they swapped out before I could get to a move. I throw Brave Bird against their Ducklet, and they shield, even though the shield's invisible. Now here, I don't really need to shield anything, because I'll just farm them down with my Chinchou, but they Bubble Beam bait, and I'm able to get to another Brave Bird. Now even though this might seem good, it actually isn't that as good as you would think, because now I will get only a little bit of farm on my Chinchou, and they can Bubble Beam me. They swap back into their Connie, and I get some energy, and I swap into my SNOVER. They throw a move, and I have to shield here because SNOVER is really squishy. And they have a seal, a Lick Seal in the back. So this is actually a pretty neutral matchup, even though my energy balls does do a lot. You can see those licks are doing so much damage, and I won't be able to tank a Icy Wind. And this energy ball probably won't KO because of the attack drop. And I try to get to another move, but the opponent actually throws their Aqua Tail, which is really good for me, meaning that their energy dry, and I'm able to farm down and throw a Thunderbolt at their Connie. It KOs. Alright, up into the next match. The opponent has a Ducklet. This is a very good matchup. And they switch into a Slugma. Now, the Slugma is actually really tough against my backline because of his Rock Throw. Since Ducklet and SNOVER is weak to Rock type moves. I shield this Rock Slide, and I'm trying to take down their Slugma. I throw another Bubble Beam immediately to lower their attack. And you can see how much damage those Rock Throws do. They actually bring out a pretty cool Pokemon, Sewaddle, but look how much damage those wing attacks did. Anyways, they swapped into their Ducklet, and I'm going to throw my Brave Bird right here. And I'm able to get to another one before the opponent throws their move. The fast moves wing attack actually does double super effective damage on Sewaddle because of its bug and grass typing. Up to the next match, up against a Ducklet, they swap into a Growlithe. Now I'm just gonna immediately throw this Bubble Beam because it's probably going to do a lot of damage, and swap into my Ducklet. Okay, so I don't shield this because I know I can tank one. I throw my Arrow Ace before they can get to a move. Now because Growlithe isn't super spammy, I can actually farm down here just by shielding one move. Now the opponent has no shields, and I am able to get to a Brave Bird. Yes! So this Brave Bird will do a lot of damage, and the opponent's Ducklet KOs. And now the opponent doesn't have any shields, and I have my SNOVER in the back. I can just throw my Ice Beam and take care of the opponent. Alright, to the next match. The opponent has a Seal. This is actually a pretty good matchup, but look how much damage those licks are doing. But my Sparks do actually do a lot as well. They catch a Thunderbolt on their Connie, and I have to swap into my SNOVER. Look how much damage those charms are doing. And I make a really big mistake here. I don't throw my move before them. And now I have to shield this in order to get this move off. They don't shield the move, and now they can farm down with their Seal. And now their Seal is really loaded. And my Chinchou is almost energy dry. I don't shield the Icy Wind, and it does pretty decent amount of damage. I throw my thunderbolt, and swap into my ducklet. They throw their icy wind, so lower my attack, and they have a ducklet as well. I throw my brave bird immediately, and the opponent throws their move. It's probably an arrow ace or a bubble beam, but they can just farm me down, and I'm in a really tough spot right here. Their seal is pretty healthy and I can't spark it down, and I don't have any shields. Yeah, they can just lick me down. I throw my thunderbolt, hoping that they won't shield for some reason. And yeah. Alright, into the next match. Up against a fungus. And I swap into my ducklet, baiting out their ducklet, and immediately throwing the brave bird. But the opponent actually immediately throws, which at 7 fast moves, which I know they have, it's an arrow ace. They lag a lot. So I'm able to throw this brave bird, and now I still have some energy. So they swap into their Vulpix, which has quick attack, and I throw another brave bird. The opponent doesn't shield here because they probably don't know I have that much energy. I don't know what they saw on their screen, but they lagged a lot there. They have their fungus. I just can shield whatever they have and farm down. Another body slam. And farming down. Okay, up into the next battle. Up against a Growlithe. This is a really good matchup, and they swap into a Slowpoke. I said before, now I would throw a Thunderbolt if they swap into a Slowpoke. And now I'll swap into my SNOVER. This is probably a Psyshock. And the thing is, I didn't actually think the Psyshock would do that much damage. I thought I would be able to get to another. If I was able to take that one confusion, I was going to be able to get to that energy ball. But because SNOVER is so glassy, I couldn't get to the energy ball, leading me to lose switch advantage. I throw a Thunderbolt here, and they have a Chinchou. Alright, their Chinchou is pretty low on health. And they bring in their Growlithe. Now this Bison will do a lot of damage since it's a Shadow Growlithe. I shield it and throw my Arrow Ace. It was pretty unfortunate that I simply tied, but they actually shielded. If I'm able to farm down right here. Oh, the opponent has 1 health and they throw their body slam. This KOs, and sadly I lost the game. In the next match, up against a Slowpoke, a Shadow Slowpoke, they swap into their Chikorita. So what I normally do would be that I CMB tie on their second move, and I don't shield anything. Because I can safely just farm it down with my Ducklet if they decide to shield this move. They don't. And they're probably going to farm down with their Slowpoke, and they do that. I'm unable to get to their energy ball. Okay, and bring back in my Chinchou. They throw a move, which is probably a Psyshock. And they actually swap into a Connie, and I purposely throw this Thunderbolt because I have to lower its health enough so that my Ducklet can take care of it. The opponent actually doesn't shield anything, and now I'm able to farm down with my Ducklet. I have to shield this, otherwise their Slowpoke might be able to farm me down. Okay, their Slowpoke has some energy, and they have to throw something at my Ducklet in order to KO me. Alright. Now my Chinchou can probably take 1 confusion. And because confusion is such a long fast move, I'm able to take the win. Up against another Slowpoke, this time with glasses. And they swap into a Connie. I give myself some energy. And the opponent throws. Now this is probably a Seed Bomb, which does not KO. And I can just not shield and throw an Ice Beam. because there's no way I'm going to get to another ice beam. Alright, they farm me down with 1 shield. And here I'm just going to farm it down and show this move. Alright, the opponent brings in a... The opponent brings back their Slowpoke, and I throw this Brave Bird immediately. And I aggressively swap into my Chinchou and snipe it down. The opponent actually has a Execute, running a double Confusion line. I throw this Thunder, and I throw this Bubble Beam. Now, the opponent has to show something. And yeah, they're really low on health, and Execute seems to be really squishy. And I just have to shield this move and farm them down. Yep, I successfully farmed them down. So those were actually the last battles for today. This team is actually pretty solid, and it does really well against double grass teams. I personally really like this team, and it got me up to 2,800 ELO. Thank you FV6 for letting me have this chance to commentate on your channel, and I hope you recover soon. See ya!